Wyclef Jean, BKS1 Radio. Let's go.
This is Essence Atkins, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Hi, this is Melba Moore, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
Yo, check it out. What's the deal? This the chef. Giving a big shout out to my peoples. Big KS, you already know what it is. Salute.
What's up? It's your girl Monifa, and I'm hanging with BKS1 Radio.
Hi, I'm Iyanla Vanzant, and you're listening to BKS1 Radio.
BKS Radio, baby.
Hey, this is Jasmine Guy for BKS1 Radio.
What's going on? This is Lamont Rooker, and this is BKS1 Radio.
Shout out to BKS1, the best kept damn secret in the business.
Hey, what's up? This is Raven Goodwin from BET's Being Mary Jane, and shout out to BKS1.
Hi, this is Leon. You're watching BKS1 Radio.
BKS1. God bless y'all.
Hello, and welcome to BKS1 Radio, the Out Show. It's your girl, Latoya Chanel. I'm getting some reverb back here, so I'm going to go ahead and not touch anything because Jeff is going to come and do that for me right now. Yes, okay, good. We are here at BKS1 Radio. It's your girl, Latoya Chanel. It is another glorious Tuesday, and I am so happy to be back in this very warm building right now because I was freezing earlier with the weather doing all of the foolery that it's doing. But I'm here, and once again, you are getting me. It is Women's History Month, and I am minus my partner, Miss Queen B, which we all know is on the mend. She should be back with us by next week. So everybody, please send some shout-outs and some love to Miss Queen B until she is back in the studio with us. And when she is, you all know we're going to have a good time and talk about all the great topics as we always do. But in the meantime, you got me. But I have a great guest who is in studio because we always have great guests, right? But I have a great guest who is with me in studio. You know, we always talk about foundation and we always talk about that pull, right? Since we're always on this healing journey and we're always just talking about what is moving you forward and who does that. And I know you've heard me say a number of times on this show where I said you need to get yourself a mentor, get yourself a publicist, and get yourself a therapist. Right? It's a mentor, a publicist, and a therapist. And anytime you're in any kind of business, you need those three. I obviously would throw in some sort of spiritual leader as well, but, you know, depending upon what your beliefs are. But I say for business and moving forward and life goal purposes, you need a mentor because someone that's been there before and is doing all the things you say you want to do. And you need a therapist and you need a publicist. I have a mentor whom became my unofficial mentor. I just kind of walked up to her one day and I said, hey, you know what? You're my mentor. Why? Because you have done all the things that I desire to do. So you've already walked this journey. This is where I'm trying to go, and the things I'm trying to do is a part of the old leg of your journey. And so you would definitely be able to help me out. So if you have the bandwidth to lend your ear and any of your expertise, I am listening, and I am trying to be a sponge, and I am trying to soak it up. So everybody, please help me welcome to the studio my mentor and guest for today, Miss Donna Walker Kuhn. Yes. How are you?
I'm just fine. Thank you.
Listen, first of all, I'm honored to have you here in studio.
Thank you.
I'm honored to have you here in studio. I'm honored that I do something where all of my worlds can collide.
Yes.
And I'm honored that I can live in balance. I don't have to keep this part of my life separate or that part of my life separate. All of my things can just run concurrent, and I love that. Yes. And part of what I've learned from you is the fact that I can do all of those things. So just to give you your flowers and just thank you to everything that you've done, the path that you have paved. And I want to let everyone know a bit of your journey, because anyone who knows me, even if you remember we had the Women's Conference back in 2018 and you were the keynote speaker so long ago, right? It's right up here on this wall here. So long ago, and you were the keynote speaker. And that was for a reason. How many years is that? How many years ago was that? 2018? What is that? 6, 7, 8? 8 years ago, right?
Right. 886. Mm-hmm.
That was 8 years. That was 8 years ago, and you know, I've learned so much since then and achieved so much since then, and obviously I'm still going and still growing, but it's just a beautiful thing where you can be in the space not only where you can continue to see your mentor thriving and moving forward and walking in your path, but I'm able to bear witness, but I'm also able to use that in my own life. Yes. And then say, you know what, this is inspiration for all of the things that I need to be doing and where I need to be in my journey. And it's a great unit of measurement for me where I can say, okay, Latoya, you said you wanted to be here. Where are you? Let's do some checks and balances. What's going on? What do you need to do to get there and all the things? So again, thank you to you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you to you for that. Thank you. Tell us a little bit about, because I know, but you know, to everybody who's watching, tell us a little bit about your start, where you come from, just all the things. You're used to doing this, so you go ahead.
My origin story.
Yes, that's what I need. Yes.
I'm from Chicago,
Okay.
Illinois. I grew up on the South Side in a very warm and loving family. And when I was 5 years old, my mom took my twin sister and I to see the Bolshoi Ballet. I am positive we were the only black people in that theater.
Right.
I have no idea why she decided to do it. But when I saw the prima ballerina, her name was Maya Pleskoskaya, when I saw her performing, I said, that's what I want to do. I want to be a ballerina. So my mom said, okay. And she enrolled us at the local YWCA. Carol, my teacher's name was Carol Folks, and took basic ballet classes there. And then we kind of got a little good. And so she enrolled us in Mayfair Dance Academy, which was the leading black dance school on the south side of Chicago. And so we started taking class there. And there was a gentleman named Julian Swain. He was teaching African dance. And he said, I want you all in my class. So we started taking his class, and he said, I'm going to form a dance company, and I want you all to join it. So we did. And by this time, we were about 13, 14. And so we started doing African dance, and we loved it. I say we because my twin and I were one person until we were 18. We just had just shared identity. It's really amazing. And so we loved it. We loved dancing with the company. We were learning new dances, and we were performing. We were performing in the community, you know, entertaining black people. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
So at the same time, I was also attending Operation Breadbasket meetings, which were held by Reverend Jesse Jackson. He would hold these meetings every Saturday on the south side of Chicago at the theater there. And Saturday mornings from 9 to 12, he educated us about what was happening in the economy, what was happening in the political sphere, and he would break it down so you could understand it. And he would weave in entertainers so that your life was open to it. So that's why I first saw Michael Jackson, Roberta Flack, Bill Cosby. They would all be there, and they would perform so that we could hear the message of this you know, important political moment. This was in the 60s. And so I would do that. So my life was between African dance classes and performances and learning about social justice through the Reverend Jesse Jackson. And so I was going consistently, and my mom would give me $1. In those days, $1 would get you 3 hamburgers from White Castle, an order of fries, and a chocolate shake, and you would have change back. So I worked that $1. And I was going, you know, every Saturday, like religiously. And then my mom said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to hear Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's got a message. And you know, because he had that whole theme about I am somebody.
Yeah.
You know, we would recite all of those things. So my mom started coming. And then she joined the women's choir. And she brought her sister, so that my mom and my aunt were in the choir, and then me and my sisters were coming, you know, to the regular meetings. And we did that for a number of years. So we're continuing to dance. And then it occurred to me, I think by the time I was about 16, 17, I said, wait a minute. I don't know any dancers making money. So I need a career. So at the same time, a lawyer came to our school for career day, and his name was Kermit Coleman, and he was a very successful black lawyer in Chicago. And I said, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a lawyer because I want to change the world. And so from that moment on, I knew dance had now shifted to be a hobby, and that my focus was to get into law school. So we went to Loyola University in Chicago, and we both were history majors. We spent our junior year in Rome because my mom said all young ladies spend a year abroad. And we said, black people?
Yeah.
She said, yes.
Okay.
So this single parent, because my father died when we were 11, so my single parent, she found a way to pay for us to go to Europe, to Rome.
Yeah.
And she hired a seamstress to make us a brand new wardrobe, bought us Samsonite luggage, and that's how we went to Europe. We were the only blacks in the entire program.
What?
And we taught African dance while we were there on campus. And then we studied dance with Carmencita Romero, who was a Dunham dancer, Catherine Dunham dancer.
Yeah.
So we were learning from the best and then passing it on to our colleagues. And we traveled all around Europe. It was wonderful. We performed. We did all kinds of things. You know, when you're young and you don't think about what you can't do, it's really kind of wonderful because we pretty much did
anything.
A lot.
Yeah.
And so we graduated, and I took a gap year because we wanted to send my mom and my aunt on a cruise. So we said, well, let's work a little bit and get some money. So we saved up our money, sent them on a cruise, gave them spending money. They could buy new clothes. And then I started law school the year after. And I applied to one law school, and that was Howard University. That's the only place I wanted to go because I wanted to go to a HBCU for undergrad.
Yeah.
But my mom had said we were too young because we graduated from high school at 16. And she said, I'm not sending my 16-year-old daughters to another state, so you're going to have to wait. I'm like, okay. So got my letter, went to Howard. My mom came with me, helped me find my apartment, and that started law school. And I danced all through law school. I took ballet classes every morning at 7 a.m. and then went to school, and then homework, briefing cases. It was, like I said, young, you just do all kinds of things. I choreographed a musical for Georgetown Law School. I produced the talent show on campus because most lawyers have a creative side to them. They sing, they dance, they do poetry, all kinds of things. In fact, I was a DJ for a while because, Howard has a great radio station. I get to think about my life when you talk.
I'm in awe. Go. Yes.
Stuff.
Please go on.
So I would DJ for lunch hour, and I would play jazz and all my favorites, the Delphonics and Earth, Wind and Fire and all that. And then I fell in love with one of the students, and he graduated a year before me, and so then I graduated and I moved to New York. That's how I got to New York. So here in New York, okay, now I'm practicing law. Okay, you got to be serious, Donna. You can't just be running around taking dance classes forever. So I said, okay, so I'm prosecuting juveniles in family court. But I'm really not happy doing that.
Yeah.
I was good at it because I love winning.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do something that I felt was transformative, and just putting these kids of color back in the system, to me, was not changing them.
Yeah.
So I started talking to my colleagues. I said, I want to do something else. I want to work in the arts. And they said, well, across the street, there's a performing arts center. It was called the Thelma Hill Performing Arts Center. Why don't you go over there? So I did. I ran over there, opened the door. I saw my future. There were papers everywhere. It was totally disorganized, and the file drawers open, everything. And I said, I know my alphabet. I'm going to organize your papers. I can do this on my lunch hour. Every day I'll just come over and help.
Yeah.
And he was thrilled. Larry Phillips was his name. He was a great presenter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that. But my lunch hour started to extend until like 4 o'clock.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I'm supposed to be back at 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so now judges were looking for Counsel Walker, and they said, where is she? And somebody whispered, she crossed the street. So I heard about that. I said, okay, so I need to leave because I have now found my mission. I want to work in the arts. So I wrote a grant to pay myself a salary and gave myself a title as managing director of the Thelma Hill Performing Arts Center.
What?
Crazy.
Okay.
So this is
All
what
right.
juveniles do.
This is what we do. Oh, my. This is okay. Go, keep going. Keep going.
So I did that for a year, and then I was like, but wait, I want to be with ballet. Dance Theater of Harlem. There's a man there, Arthur Mitchell. Write him a letter. So I wrote a letter. I didn't have a resume. I just wrote him a letter, and I said, I can do all these things. I'm a lawyer. I'm a dancer. I'm organized. I can sell whatever you got. And so the day my letter arrived, his marketing director had resigned. It was 2 weeks before their New York season. They were premiering a new ballet called Creole Giselle, the traditional story of Giselle, but set in the Louisiana bayous. The critics were tearing it apart. How dare you, touch a traditional piece and put it in the bayous? How dare you do this? And so no tickets were being sold. So Mr. Mitchell called. He said, I got your letter. Can you sell tickets? I said, yes. And I was hired. That just
on the spot.
Yes. Because he needed somebody to come in and someone crazy to say yes.
Yeah.
So I started a dance theater, and that began 9 years of the most incredible experience, traveling around the world with the company, doing audience development, engaging the Black community, representing Mr. Mitchell's interests when we traveled abroad, creating panels, discussions with the dancers to educate young dancers in other countries about protecting their body, what things to eat. So I did all those things. And then 9 years, I said, wait a minute, I think I want to do something else. Because we had done the Metropolitan Opera House. We performed there at BAM. We had performed at all the big opera houses. And I thought, it's time to do something else. But I didn't know what. I couldn't imagine myself anyplace else because my whole life had been Dance Theater of Harlem. Then I got a phone call from George C. Wolfe, who was then the new producer at the Public Theater, the New York Shakespeare Festival. And he left the message on my voice machine, which we had back in those days.
Right.
And he said, hi, this is George C. Wolfe. I heard about you. Call me. And I thought, well, this is a joke, because I know George C. Wolfe is not calling me. He had just won Tony Awards for Angels in America. He had Jelly's Last Jam on Broadway. And now he Color Museum had won all these awards. Why would he call me?
Yeah.
But he did. So I called him back. And he said, yeah, come in. I was like, wow. So I could put on my cute little black and white polka dot dress. I could still see that dress. Had my heels. I was very happy. So I went bopping up in there. And he said, so I've been here 3 months, and I noticed the audiences are predominantly white. I want this place to look like a subway stop. What would you do? So I said, well, I definitely know how to get Black people to go see ballet. So I will just expand that to all the other different ethnic groups, our LGBTQ community. That's something I can do. I know how to do that. So he said, okay, thank you. And so I went home, and I just thought, just wanted to pick my brain. A week later, he called and said, when can you start? What would you like to name your department, and how many staff do you need? So I looked at the phone. I said, this must be what it's like to dream while you're awake, because I know this isn't happening to me. But it did. So I really struggled with leaving Dance Theater of Harlem because that was such my heart. But I knew George was offering me a new world.
Yeah.
And a new part of New York, down in the Village, a new genre, theater. I knew nothing about theater. Yeah. And to work with another brilliant artist. So I thought, you cannot say no. This is your time. So I didn't have enough nerve to say to Mr. Mitchell, I'm leaving. I wrote a letter, and then I hired a messenger to put it under his door. And then he called me. He said, I got your letter. You're leaving me. I said, it's time. You've prepared me now to take on the world. And I said, we'll continue, to work together in some way, which we did. He hired me as his publicist like a month later. So that began my 9 years.
Okay, can we pause?
Sure.
Because I know you have so much more after that. We didn't even get to the Apollo. We didn't even get to it. Like you. Okay, wait. And this is just what I know about you. All right, wait. Just I need to pause right here because I feel like I'm just okay. How do you? I want to ask, how are you, right? But I want to ask, did you ever have any moments of doubt in any of these things? Because all of these things are faith driven. Everything you did was faith driven.
Absolutely.
Moving from Chicago to New York was faith driven. Starting at the theater, just being a lawyer and just walking away from being a lawyer, a black lawyer in the 70s,
80s.
in the 80s. Who does that? Who walks away from being a black lawyer in the 80s to go into dance? And everything was stepping out on faith. Every single move you made was literally stepping out on faith. And that's why I said, did you ever experience have you ever experienced any doubt? Like maybe I don't know if I can or I shouldn't, or did you ever have any of those thoughts?
No. My mom raised us to really believe we could do anything. And that's my belief. We were raised this way.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from a generation of incredible women who have accomplished amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought, oh, look, this is my time. I'm going to follow in those footsteps. Also, I am a Buddhist. And so I chant every day. I chant to be able to
When did you
fulfill.
become a Buddhist?
Right before I moved to New York. Yes. But I was introduced to Buddhism in high school.
Really?
So I always knew about it, but I didn't think I needed it because I felt,
That was in the
fierce.
In the 70s.
Yes.
So that time period, people were kind of branching out, spreading, finding different things and different paths. Okay, especially different spiritual paths. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So, my high school teacher introduced us to Buddhism, and she just said, "Would you girls want to be happy? Why don't you try chanting Nam-myoho Renge Kyo? This is how you can really create happiness in your life." But I thought I was happy at the time, so I was like, okay, that's cute. And I just filed it away. But then law school is what really allowed me to start to think about it because I was really struggling in law school. And so chanting allowed me to be able to transcend that, figure out how to study, stay away from the parties because Howard can pull you in. And that's how I really kind of corrected my life to move it forward.
Yeah.
But, every day I chant to be able to fulfill my mission. I chant every day to be the best person I can be, to make causes, to demonstrate what it's like to be a person who has made a commitment for world peace. So that's what I live by. Those are my values. So I take that with me wherever I go. So I'm not afraid. I trust my decisions because I know they're rooted, as you said, in faith. They're rooted in my mission, who I am. So I just move forward through that.
The grounding, the
Yes.
foundation. You have a whole. You have your own tagline. You have your own slogan for who you are, your purpose, and why you move forward. Where's my? I don't even have a pen here. I need to do. I have work to do.
You're doing great. I'm watching. You're doing great.
I have some work to do. Okay, and so okay. My mind is all over the place right now, because there's so many amazing things that you've accomplished that you just said, you know what, I'm gonna do this. You did it, and then
or someone invited me.
Yeah.
So I got invited to the Public Theater, which led me to Broadway.
Yeah.
And being one of the first black women to do marketing for Broadway shows.
Yeah.
And then from there, opening up my own business, and not even knowing what that meant. I really didn't know what that meant.
Well, how long were you at the theater?
9 years.
You were at Dance Theater of Harlem 9 years, and then when you left there to go to
the Public
Theater, you were there
9 years.
So 9 and 9.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And from there,
I was married. I got married again. I'm a second marriage.
Okay.
And we wanted to have a family.
Yeah.
And I didn't see myself continuing the schedule that I had of traveling all over and coming home late and being a mother.
Yeah.
I just said, that's not how I was raised. So I said, why don't I just start consulting? I hear that it's something that's not too difficult. So did not get the memo that when you have your own business, you work twice as hard.
Right.
Did not get that memo.
Right.
But I left the Public on a Friday, and I just called a few friends and said, I'm leaving the Public. If you hear of anything, let me know. That Monday, I had 4 clients. I had Alvin Ailey, American Dance Theater. I had Bill T. Jones Dance Company. I had Hairspray on Broadway. And I had Ma Rainey's Black Bottom on Broadway with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
And they just said, we were just waiting for you to leave. So can you work with us? I was like, yes. So I didn't have files. I think I might have had a yellow pad. I didn't have anyone to help me, so I called one of my friends. I said, girl, can you come over here and help me with some of this paperwork? And we just kind of took off from there. So, and that was in 2002. So since that time, fortunately, clients have come to me, and that's when the Apollo Theater contacted me around 2008. And it was just a simple question, can you help us get an audience? That was the question. Because we're the Apollo Theater, but we're a rental house. People only come for a show. We don't have the community here. We don't have family here. Can you help us with that? It's like, yes, I know how to do that. So I was the marketing director for 3 years at the Apollo Theater, and I created open house there, participating in street fairs, building audiences, the whole college initiative we did. We would open up the balcony, and I said, if we get the college students here for $10, we give them a free drink, and we put a DJ up in the balcony, and we start a half hour before amateur night begins. So when people come in, the party has already started, and they're looking up there and saying, can we go up there? I said, no, that's for the college students. But that was a way for us to make our goal of 100% sold out every Wednesday. Because we had those college students up there, and a lot of tourist groups as well. So after, the Apollo, then we hired a permanent marketing director because I had my own company. And from there, I continued working on Broadway. I've done 22 Broadway shows and, nonprofit arts organizations in all the genres. Then I wrote my first book, Invitation to the Party.
Stop there. Stop there, because now we're just on the first book. Okay, yes. we're going through your history, and we're just on book 1, right? Yes. Okay. You said you got married for the second time and you wanted to have a family and you didn't want to travel as much because, that's not how you were raised and you want to put more into your family. How did you find the balance between family, being an entrepreneur, the arts, and that pull for the arts to be ever present? How did you find a balance?
Good question. I believe in being 100% wherever you are. And so I don't look over my shoulder and wonder what's happening. I'm not home. I wonder what's happening. No, I'm 100% where I am. But when I'm home, I'm 100%. But I was also very fortunate. My mom moved in with us. So she really helped with raising my daughter, and my husband was there. So I had a lot of support. I knew that if I focus, I believe I can do anything. That could be a handicap. I don't know.
No.
But I can't imagine something I can't do. I don't feel that. I really feel I can do anything. So I attack everything with rigor and excellence. Because I'm representing 400 years of my legacy. I always feel that. I always feel my ancestors are here with me. And I want to make sure they're proud that they produced this woman in this time frame. So it's not just for me, it's for all of my legacy. When you look at me, I want you to see what black people winning looks like.
And that's clear. That's all you can see. You can't see anything but that when people look at you. There's literally, you couldn't even make up anything else if you even wanted to. That is absolutely amazing. Okay. With all of your experience, with starting your own business, with being an entrepreneur, traveling the world, working with all of the top premier performing arts centers and companies and on Broadway and all the things, what made you say, you know what, now I need to become an author?
After the production of Bringing the Noise, Bringing the Funk with Savion Glover on Broadway, and the success of that, which was bringing in black audiences, which had not really been done before, producers kept calling me and saying, how did you do it? How can we learn from you? And I just said, I'll write it down. It was that easy for me. With my legal training, which you use every day, you never, ever put that to the side. I'm a lawyer every day. But also, I was a professor. I had started teaching at NYU.
We just skipped that.
Yeah, we did.
We skipped that completely.
This is my 30th.
Yeah, just
This is
started
my
doing that.
36th year of teaching at NYU.
I just became an NYU professor on the side.
I did. I walked in the door and said, I know a few things. You need some help. Literally. I just walked in and they said, well, yeah, what do you do? I said, well, I do marketing, audience development. They said, well, we need someone to teach that. I said, great. So I built my curriculum. Again, you know, we didn't have AI and all that, so I just called some folks and structured it based on what I would want to know. And I started teaching from there. So writing the book was not that challenging. I got up at 4 every morning, and literally the words would spill out. I couldn't type fast enough. And then I would go about my day, you know. But I knew the book demanded to be written. We knew the field needed this information. There was no one that had documented audience development, certainly not in a systematic way that you could follow easily and implement. So that was pure joy. That was just joy.
Do you ever feel overwhelmed?
No, but I feel tired. Sometimes I'm tired in the evening. Well, now that I'm getting older too, I definitely feel tired. But I don't feel overwhelmed because I know how to ask for help.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had built it. By this point, I had staff of 7 that were excellent. And I could, the skill in running a business is knowing how to delegate. And so I was able to do that pretty well and have them pick up. But the clients want to see your face, but I could have my team do a lot of the things.
I know there are time periods where I'll be in meetings for 8-9 hours a day.
Yeah.
Come home, have to do something and have to do something else. And usually by the time I stop, whatever time that is, I feel like I'm doing this. And I know that feeling in my body. And I'll be like, you know what? I need to just go somewhere and just get quiet for a minute.
Right.
I just need to get quiet because I'm too much in here. I'm doing too much, and I love the feeling initially because I feel like it's all the creativity, it's all the juices flowing, it's all the multitasking of yes I can do this, and yes I can do this, and yes I can accomplish that, and then sometimes I get that feeling, and I'll go, ooh, okay, LaToya, just now you need a break.
Right.
Now you just need a quick break.
Yeah.
You get back to it tomorrow, but right now you just need to stop, and right now you just need a quick break. Is that the tired feeling that you feel, or is it something else?
It's just physical. It's like, okay, you need to lay down. You know, it's time to close
Because you
your
exert
eyes.
a lot of energy.
Yes, a tremendous amount of energy. So I have to rejuvenate my life. So I pray twice a day. So in the morning, I pray to have a great day, to accomplish my goals, to inspire the people around me. And in the evening, I pray with appreciation that I was able to have a great day. And then tomorrow, here's my determination for tomorrow. And so that keeps me, you know, kind of stable in terms of my energy level. I also, as a vegan for over close to 40 years, I really take care of myself. And so everything I eat, whatever I consume, it's for nutrition. It's not just for taste. So if I'm going to have something sweet, it's got to be because it has other ingredients that's going to help build my body. So that, I know that has a lot to do with my energy level.
And how you feel,
Yeah, it's what I eat, what I drink, all of that. So I really take care of myself from head to toe. So spiritually, physically, emotionally, I have mastered keeping toxic people away from me. They
How?
are nowhere in my orbit.
Yeah, how? How do you do that?
I can sense it. I can sense when a person is toxic. Either I'm going to be removed from the environment or they will. That's my determination. I make up my mind. I am not going to have this drama around me. Now, you're going to have to go, or either I'm going, but this is not going to work. No, I'm not having you drain my positive energy. So I make up my mind. I'm totally committed to that.
Yeah.
So, no, they're not around me.
Yeah.
I'm invisible to them.
Okay. We have author.
Yes.
NYU professor.
And Columbia University.
And Columbia University professor.
And at one time it was Brooklyn College as well. I was teaching at 3 universities simultaneously. So there's an insanity that I will own. I will own this. There is absolutely just this like, girl, what?
Yeah.
But I did it.
And you just manage it all.
I did it.
Yeah. You manage it all.
I taught for 13 years at Brooklyn College.
Yeah.
And I'm still teaching at Columbia. and NYU.
Yeah.
That's all part of my mission. You know, I have
And being a mom. And
yes.
being a mom.
Oh, well, yeah, that's number one.
Yes.
Fortunately, my daughter, she's very nimble. So I would take her with me many times. Like when I was touring around the world doing lectures and things, I always had her with me. My mom would come with us as well, you know. And as she got older, I would just take her. We'd just be the two of us. She's been to Australia twice, took her to Moscow, took her to South Africa, took her to Scotland. She's been all over.
Yeah.
So I bring her with me. But, yeah, everything comes with a price. So absolutely, yes, I could have spent more time rearing her, but she did have her father. You know, she had lots of aunts around. And I try to make sure I'm the primary person that's creating the culture of how she's going to live her life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So that book 1.
Yes.
Okay, let's go back to being an author. Book 1. Okay.
Invitation to the Party, Building Bridges to Arts, Culture, and Community. That's the title of the first book. So that took me around the world extensively. I've done over 200-300 workshops and lectures with that book.
Yeah.
It really opened the door because no one else had done this before. And arts organizations were yearning for this information. And I know how to deliver it in an accessible, joyful way. So I'm the kind of person you want to bring in. So you feel good about yourself. You don't feel like there's something wrong. And so I did that, while at the same time running my company. And then I worked on the production of Harlem Song at the Apollo Theater. It was a musical that George C. Wolfe wrote and directed. And guess who was the lead producer? John Schreiber. And who was the co-executive producer? Dave Rodriguez. So I met, Dave already knew, but I met John Schreiber in 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. And he really liked my work. He could see it, you know, what I did for the Harlem community, how I engaged the audiences. And so, you know, the show ran for 6 months, and it was shocking. It was the first musical that was ever produced at the Apollo Theater. And then, you know, we did our run. So then 10 years later, John Schreiber called me, and with Dave on the other line, and they both said, "So what are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I just finished Streetcar Named Desire on Broadway." I said, "Just finished a Broadway show, and, you know, we're getting ready for what's next." He said, "Well, could you come out here to NJPAC?" I was like, "What, Newark? To do what?" And then he said, "Well,
not Jersey."
Exactly. And he said, "Well, our VP marketing has resigned, and she's been gone for several months. And it's a department of 40 people, and they're just making all kinds of interesting decisions. They need a mom. They need some leadership. Could you just be our interim VP marketing for 3 months? Because we're doing a nationwide search. We'll find the right person. Just come out 2 days a week. We'll give you an office, and you can do all your other business. It's fine. We just need your
And what year was
here."
this?
This was 2012.
Okay.
2012.
So that was 2 years before I got there.
Yeah. And so, so I said yes. So out to Jersey I went twice a week, and helping to maneuver these 40 people who thought they were great marketers. Some were, some were not. Katie Sword was the senior director of marketing, and she was definitely my right hand, because I had never worked in a performing arts organization. It was so different from my experience of working Dance Theater of Harlem, one genre, one thing that you're focusing on, the public theater, plays. But at the PAC,
it was all of it.
Every day.
Yeah.
And you never even see the artist.
Yeah.
I thought I was dying. I wasn't touching the art. I thought, I can't this I can't. This is I need art. I need what? So a month after I started, John came in the office and closed the door. So I thought, what was wrong? And he said, "Can you take the job?" So I thought somebody else had come in with him. So I looked around the room. I said, I wonder who he's talking to. He said, "No, can you take the job as vice president of marketing?" I said, "How would I do that? I have my own business. I have staff. I have contracts." He said, "We know, but 75% of you would be better than 25% of anyone we've interviewed." So I said, "Well, I have to talk to my family. This is like Jersey now every day. I have to talk to my clients. I mean, this is major." He said, "Okay, well, let me know your decision." Like, he gave me like 2 or 3 days. I'm like, boyfriend. Anyway, so I chanted about it to see, is this part of my mission? Can I really create value here? And then I talked with my husband at the time, my mom, my daughter. I said, the mom's not going to be home till like 7 at night. What do you think about that? How you feel about that?
How did you feel about that, though, not getting home till 7 at night?
I was excited at being one of the very few vice presidents in any performing arts center at that time that's black.
Yeah.
There were none. There were very few.
Yeah.
So I thought, here again, I can make a difference in the legacy of my family, my lineage, and accomplishing another goal. So I thought, if everything aligns and everyone is in agreement, then this is a role I can take.
Yeah.
So I did. I said yes. And so that began in 2012. We sent out the press release, and so many people called me. They were like, "Oh, what are you doing?" So it was. I have no regrets. I'm so glad I said yes to that, because it allowed me, as you talked about in your intro, all parts of me come together at NJPAC. Everything. So for the past, 14 seasons, I've been there. So vice president marketing, and then after a couple of years, I realized we're not really touching the community of Newark in an authentic way, because I see them walking past the building, not coming in. We need to take the art to them. So that's when the idea of community engagement started to really develop in my head. If we can build programs that go and touch these communities, that's a way for them to connect if they choose. And so I made a proposal to John, and I said, we should build a community engagement department dedicated to creating access, not transaction-based, not worried about sales goals, but taking the art to where people live. And I have ideas on how to do that. And he just looked at me and he said, "Sounds good. Would you like to be vice president?" I said yes. So I became vice president of community engagement, a brand new role in the arts world.
Yeah.
There had not been one.
Yeah.
I created that.
Yeah.
Out of what was missing. And that's been the bulk of my career.
What was
I
missing?
fill in holes. I can see what's missing.
I'm going to watch this back later tonight. Okay.
I learned this from Mickey Shepard. Mickey Shepard is one of my mentors. I have several. And she always told me, "Donna, look for what's missing. That's how you can build your career." And I have. And so, doing that, community engagement, so developed, books on the move, dance in the community, jazz jams, all kinds of things that have become institutional now at NJPAC. Those are the initiatives that I developed. And I did that, full-time as VP for a few years. And then I realized I wanted to return to consulting, because I was still getting all these demands to come speak here. Can you come do this workshop? Can you do? And I wanted the freedom to do that. So John and Dave, they were fine with that. And they said, just look and see who's going to be your successor. So I had my eye on Aisha Marable already. I knew that she would be really great in this role. So so we made an offer to her. I had some other people in between, but I knew she was the one that could really take this vision, expand and make it her own. I knew she could do that. So that's what she's been doing incredibly well. And I've been able to be in the role as a consultant, even though I work like it's full-time. But I'm a consultant there. So I'm able to now walk in a new path, having created our social justice series. So Standing in Solidarity, evolved out of the murder of George Floyd.
Yes, it did.
And we were just very focused on, as the state arts institution, how do we demonstrate what it's like to be anti-racist arts organization? We can educate our community about social justice topics. So Katab Rollins and I just started brainstorming and creating all of these different panels and films.
And then I was your virtual manager throughout the pandemic.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
And so that's has evolved into an incredible initiative. And then before the pandemic, I had been asked to be part of a team to build our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives. We were already thinking about that. But then after the murder of George Floyd, it accelerated, and we had to put systems in place.
Yeah.
And so building our strategic plan, we made this a pillar. And that's when I became also responsible for creating all of the diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives that we have. And that was over 5 years ago. So those are the 2 lanes that I hold at New Jersey Performing Arts Center, and I still have my other clients. I work with the museums, the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Whitney Museum. I still work with Alvin Ailey American Dance Company. I work with theater. I work in all the genres. I love it. I love my life. I love the work I do. I wake up and I'm like, let's go.
I get to do this.
Yes, let's go.
I get to do this.
Make a difference. Because the theme of all of my work is creating access for people of color. That is my focus. That's what I live for. I want to make sure we have access to the arts in a joyful, welcoming way. We don't have to feel like we don't belong. What are you doing there? None of that.
What are your thoughts? I dated someone one time who told me, well, your problem is, Latoya, is you're too flighty and you need to focus on one thing at a time. You always want to do too much. Maybe if you focus on one thing at a time, you won't be the a jack of all trades and the master of none.
Ooh.
And maybe, spicy language.
Hope you got rid of him.
Yep, yeah. Oh, no, he's been gone. What are your thoughts on people saying you only need to do, and I know what your thoughts are because we've discussed this at length, but what are your thoughts when people say, oh, you should only be doing one thing at a time?
I am doing one thing at a time. It's all audience development. It's all community engagement. That's what I do. I just do it in a lot of places. But it's the same. It's the same. I don't do anything. You don't see me doing accounting. I'm not doing development work. I don't do fundraising. I know what I do well. I just like to do it in multiple places. So it looks like it's a lot different. And that's what I teach. My students learn what I do every day. And that's what I teach them. So there's nothing outside of that. It's all the same. It's what I write about. I wrote a blog for 8 years. Every week, I wrote about topics that were interesting to me. But it's all related to community.
That's why I tell people everything I do is entertainment focused. I said, I do the show here. That's entertainment. I do, the production company and the film festivals. That's all entertainment. Right. And being in a performing arts center, that's all entertainment. I said, so technically I only do one thing too now. It's just in a few different areas.
Exactly.
And then more recently, I get to do some consulting and different things with you and your company.
Exactly.
So it's all entertainment. It's just, it's just all in different areas, but technically it's one thing.
Exactly. But there are no limits on our capacity.
Right.
Black women, we can do anything.
Yeah.
We created civilization.
Yeah.
What can't we do? So I'm just tapping into that bottomless pit.
Yeah. Yeah.
With joy.
Yeah. Okay. Your latest venture,
Yes.
Champion for the Arts.
Yes.
Because you became an author that sent you jet setting around the world, doing talks and all kinds of things. And so, now you're on book. This is book number 2.
Yes.
This is Champion for the Arts.
Yes.
Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yes. Champions for the Arts evolved out of my work primarily at NJPAC. Realizing and seeing the impact of taking the arts to the community, what that can look like and feel like. And I wanted to make sure our arts community would have those strategies that they could start to build.
Yeah.
Also, interacting with a lot of the performing arts centers, I knew they wanted to do something like this, but again, not knowing how. What are the tools? How do you get started? How do you report? How do you measure success? All of those things. Fortunately, at NJPAC, I was able to develop that, so it feels like my responsibility is to share it with the field. I love my colleagues, so I want them to have this. So writing the book was one way to tap into that. Champions are people that I kept seeing who were opening the doors to the arts. They were making it accessible in the most organic ways, like Barbara's Flower Shop, based in Brooklyn. Fred Powell was the owner. He has since passed. He lived in Jersey, actually. And Fred Powell, I met him at a fundraiser. And we just started talking. He was saying, I love theater. And I was like, oh, see, I'm a person that has radar. All you have to do is say something one time, and I'm like,
pounce.
Yes. And so I said, okay. And so we started talking, and he said, I have a flower shop. I said, beautiful. In fact, he did flowers for my wedding. And I said, So you deliver flowers to the churches? He said, oh, yes, every Sunday I go to about 30 churches. I said, would you mind taking my flyers with you for different shows? He said, sure, I'd be happy to. So for the past 30 years, Barbara's Flower Shop delivers my flyers to their churches. And the impact it has, the pastors trust him. I could hire someone to drop off flyers, but they'd probably throw them away. There's no relationship. But they're trusting Barbara's Flower Shops because they deliver their flowers. They know Fred Powell and his family. And so Fred would tell me, he said, what you got next? They're asking me. They want to know, what should I recommend? So he became an influencer because of his business, and we did all of this out of love for the arts. So he's a champion for the arts.
Yeah.
Brenda Glacé is another champion for the arts. I forgot to tell you. So I had this program I created in 2011 through 2013.
Yeah.
Some colleagues and I decided we were going to submit an application for a program that was being funded by the owners of the Broadway theaters who had sold their air rights.
Okay.
To develop more diversity on Broadway. We created a program called Impact Broadway, and it was gathering high school students from all 5 boroughs into one theater club, exposing them to the art of creating theater behind the scenes as well as on stage. They would choose 3 plays throughout the year. They come see the plays. We do a talk back. We'd have dinner together. We were able to talk to the restaurants. They gave us $10 dinners. It was amazing. And then they would write a paper about it and then post on social media. And we did that for 3 years. So we truly cultivated this whole group of young people to love theater and to know that they had access to theater.
Yeah.
So Brenda Glacé was one of the teachers. And since that time, she has brought groups to almost everything I work on. Wow. She's a champion for the arts.
Yes.
Champions aren't people who are paid to create access. They're people who do it because they love it.
Yeah.
Yes. So I wanted to acknowledge them. So the book also salutes them, but encourages everyone to be a champion for the arts. My goal with this book is that everyone will look outside their window and see an arts organization and go over there and say, how can I help? That's what I want to accomplish with this book.
Yeah. Tell everybody why the arts is so important.
That's where our hearts are. That's where our humanity is. Without the arts, I believe we would be machines, automatons, just doing it, going through the process, but without any sense of joy, mission, humanity. We must have the arts, and we have to make sure the arts flourish. And that takes manpower, that takes resources and money. And so if we can all commit just a little bit, whatever you can do, go over, answer the phone 2 hours a day. But with that, I think we could change our culture. I think we could erase so much of the hatred today.
I was going to say, why do you think it's so important? Why do you think the arts are so important today, especially in this climate?
Exactly, because we're living in a climate of hatred, and the arts, there's a opportunity for us, for people of different opinions and beliefs, to share in the joy of looking at something beautiful, of sharing an experience that moved your heart, and for those 2 hours. We're in agreement. That was amazing. When I go to the museums and bring different groups, they're all like, wow, that's so beautiful. This is amazing. So that's when we can kind of shed all the identities that makes us different, and that's where we can unite on what's beautiful. So I want to foster more of that.
Yeah. Are you thinking of another book?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, because I'm sure you're going to be writing until.
Basically.
Yes. So what's next? What are you thinking of next?
Memoir. I have so many experiences just in life that have been inspiring to me, and I'm sure will inspire other people. I love women. I love in terms of supporting women, and so I want to write my story about how being a woman has allowed me to live beyond my dreams and to inspire them to do the same. So definitely my next book will be my memoir.
When and how do you rest?
Well, my goal is to get to bed by midnight, but that does not always work. That's my goal.
Okay.
So I have workout classes 3 days a week on Zoom. So I have to be up in time for that. My class is at 8:00.
And do you make all of this stuff? Do you not make it, but are you consistent
Yes.
with prayer,
Yes.
with working out,
Yes.
with eating right,
Yes.
with all of your endeavors, with everyone, with family, with friendship, with finding time for yourself, because there's so many women that are struggling to do that. There's so many women that are saying,
That's right.
I don't know how I'm supposed to be, wear these many hats and wear all of these titles and do all of these things and be healthy, but enjoy myself and be this in my household and still have this autonomy outside of it or inside of it. And there's so many women that are finding it so hard to have all of those things. How do you do it?
I'm not trying to prove anything.
Yeah.
And I know that if I take care of myself, I can be the best person possible.
Yeah.
So that's definitely going to happen. I'm going to try to make sure I get enough rest. I don't get enough rest, but I'm trying.
Okay.
So,
okay.
But I definitely eat very well because I cook most of all my meals. I love preparing food for myself because it's a way of demonstrating my love for myself. So I love Donna first. And so I do that. Working out is a way to make sure my body is as strong as it can be. I mean, I have arthritis. I have osteoarthritis. I've got conditions that I have to pay attention to. And I have fun. I'm so rich. I have great friends. I have theater buddies. So we go to theater at least once a week with my friends. Some of my girlfriends, some of my boyfriends, all kinds of folks. And we have a good time. I have a little group I'm a part of. It's called Sapphire. And we've been together now about 25 years, and it's just 3 of us who came together from different aspects of our lives, but our goal is to help each other's dreams come true. So we have these sessions where we will think through everything you need to accomplish your goal. We help you remove the barriers. It's a really safe space. We can speak honestly to each other. And Sapphire, we've all accomplished our dreams about 3 times now. So I have Sapphire. I have, my whole Buddhist community, which is incredibly supportive and amazing. So, just so many circles that I'm in that feed my life.
That feed it, yeah.
Yes.
But even from a little girl, where did the confidence come from?
My mom.
Because we're black women growing up here. Everybody's telling you no, you can't, you shouldn't, don't do, not going to work, all of the things, and you still just persevere through it. Where did that confidence come from to do that?
My mom. She truly, and never forcefully, she just kept letting us know, you can do anything. What do you want to do? You got that. Okay, let's do this. And it was consistent. That, along with the love of my father, even though he passed when I was 11, his love for us, it was 3 of us, was so strong. I just knew that foundation, along with my mom's constant encouragement, I just never occurred to me what I could not do. I still don't know what that would mean.
Yeah.
I see that person, I'm going to tell them, get out my way. No, get out my way.
Listen, I could talk to you for 3 more hours, but unfortunately, you have to get back to the city, and it's 8:00. So, okay, tell everybody how they can find the book.
Yes.
How can they?
Champions for the Arts.
Yes.
You can find it on Amazon. You can find it on my website. My website address is WalkerCommunicationsGroup.com. Or if you just Google my name, Donna Walker Kuhne, and that's Kuhne, it all pops up.
It does.
So my publishers are Theater Communications Group, or TCG. You can find it on their website. But it's out there. And my goal is to travel to all 50 states to celebrate champions for the arts. So I've been to 3 states so far. I got 47 to go.
Last message for everybody who watched tonight.
Find the joy in your life. Hold it. Celebrate it. Love it.
Thank you, Donna.
You're welcome. Thank you, Latoya.
Thank you, Donna. This was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Again, you know I could talk for 2 more hours. I'm not going to do that because I know we have to get out of here because we have to get you home. We have all been in meetings all day long, and we're doing this, and we got to get you to that rest part. Jeff, you can bring it back on me now. Listen, Donna, thank you so much. This is amazing. I will be watching this the rest of the week, just so you know, and into next week. But again, this is my mentor, everybody. Do you see why she's my mentor? Okay. So anytime you hear me say, you know, my mentor said, and I was talking to my mentor, now you can put a face to a name, and now you know why. Thank you so much, Donna, for doing this tonight. I definitely have to have you back because all of this is so inspiring to me. For everybody who watched, and I know there were some comments in the chat, and I apologize. We just kept talking. We weren't able to get to everything, but I love you all who watched this evening. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. This was great for Women's History Month and just celebrating who we are and what it is that we do. And God willing, I will be back here next week, same time, same place, different show. Jeff, take us away. Bye, everybody. See you soon.